Welcome to Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. We're here at the Para Safari Lodge. Actually, for you to be able to get to the Para Safari Lodge, you've got to cross this river here. And as we've been told, is that this is the meeting place, I think. There is River Nile here, which is going all the way from the Victoria to the Sudan and Egypt, which is on the right-hand side. And right now we are waiting for the ferry, which you can see crossing right now, which is going to take us across to that building with those lights that you see there, and that is the Para Safari Lodge, where we're going to spend the first night of our trip here in Kampala, visiting the Makijani National Park. Recently, or officially, it has been declared that Uganda is among the emerging travel destinations that you have to visit in 2016. I'm going to find out for myself. Uganda is the country where East and West Africa meet, featuring lush forests inhabited by primates and arid savannas which are home to a wide array of plains game. Lakes, mountains, tea plantations, and waterfalls are some of the landmarks that made an impression on Winston Churchill when he traveled to this country and said, "This is the Pearl of Africa." Every time I visit Uganda, I'm pleased to say that it has maintained the same beauty and the wow factor. Is it the people? Everyone who travels knows how the attitude of local people can influence your experience when visiting a new country. When going somewhere new, we want to learn about other ways of living. We want to contact with new cultures. We want to connect with people whose lives are so different but somehow so similar to ours. And Uganda offers that. Uganda is an African success story in terms of tourism, and while being adventurous and unspoiled, it is now a very safe place and a safe country to travel to. Up to now, I've been thrilled to watch water buffaloes and watching hippos and elephants playing in the waters. And I've also taken hundreds of photos of colorful birds, lazy crocodiles and elegant antelopes.
Écoute idée, 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 Vital Caméré, écoute idée, écoute idée, parfois ça fait, écoute idée, écoute idée, écoute idée.
So are you the driver here?
Yes.
And how many people do you take per day?
We take many, it depends on how they come. Because
how many vehicles does this carry?
this type we can take like 8 in one trip.
You've got this, this is presumably is your last trip today?
Yeah, it is the last trip today.
So on a good day, how many visitors do you have around here?
At times we can, in the morning we can take like 3 trips. That would be like 24 vehicles in the morning.
Ouais. Nyama ya yolo. Chuma. Bila lobby stopé. Allez temporiser. Chuma, 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 chuma. Nenge lobby stopé. Ça. Allez temporiser. Kamada photo. Buka Kingo. Toi c'est comme ok? Écoutez, 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 DJ Franck, écoutez. Martin Chamoules, Yama ya Brazil, Yama ya Paris, Dalanyo, Yama ya Braza, ouais, Moïse Katumbi. Écoutez, 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 Ibouché.
Is it the lakes? Is it the water? Lakes, waterfalls, channels, the water element is prevalent in the Ugandan landscape, which even features the source of the mighty Nile, where we are now. Apart from allowing the lush vegetation to survive, this precious element adds to the beauty of the scenery, which makes the activities on offer varied and exciting, and is the habitat of many species that otherwise wouldn't be able to survive. Now, if you're planning to visit Uganda, I'm going to give you tips on the top 10 things to do and see while visiting Uganda. 1. It's only in Uganda you can see and track the mountain gorillas and chimpanzees. You can even spend all day with the chimpanzees on habituation experience. It is in Uganda where you can climb the Virunga volcanoes, Africa's tallest mountains range, the Rwenzori Mountains of the Moon. Wild water rafting on the Nile at Ginger. See the Big Five on a wildlife safari. Do not forget that Uganda is in Africa. Condensed into a small country, it is a primates-like gorilla plus wildlife. It is stunning scenery. It has one of the 7 natural wonders of Africa, the historic River Nile and its source. It is home to the tallest mountain range in Africa, the Rwenzori Mountain of the Moon. This is Makishon Falls Conservation Area, or the MFCA, which comprises of the Makishon Falls National Park, Bugungu and Karuma Falls Wildlife Reserves. This is where the Nile explodes through a narrow gorge and cascades down to become a placid river whose banks are thronged with hippos and crocodiles, waterbucks and buffaloes. The vegetation is characterized by savanna, river rainforest and woodland. The wildlife includes lions, leopards, elephants, giraffes, hartebeests, oribis, Uganda cobs, chimpanzees and many bird species. Where we are now, as I said, is called the Makishon National Park. In 1926, it was known as a game reserve set up to protect the savanna grassland that was talked about by Winston Churchill in 1907 as the Great Kew Gardens, along with the wildlife blended on restricted land. Escapism and authenticity are key, and nowhere offers them quite like fledgling and far-flung nations like Uganda. What is the yardstick? Kazakhstan's vast rolling mountains, Iceland's wild natural phenomena, Madagascar's prehistoric lemurs, and Taiwan's cultural treasures. Troves are some of the highlights making the year ahead. And Uganda is somewhere there. The park is acknowledged for receiving prominent international visitors. The most famous one is Winston Churchill, the great Prime Minister of Britain. This is the man who is accredited for having done activities such as boat cruise, hiking, as well as later on, he was followed by his predecessor who is believed to have spent a lot of money, around $1.8 million, in In 1951, a movie was shot with background scenery of the Murchison Falls that was Humphrey Bogart in John Huston's prominent movie. Another movie was also The African Queen, which was shot on the vicinity of the Murchison Nile. Other vital visitors include the Prince of Wales, Edward VII, Queen Mother in 1959, and the British royal families. Did you know that in 1954, Ernest Hemingway also visited the park? see at the back. We've got giraffes. What do people know about giraffes?
Giraffes are one among the animals we have in the park, and this type is called the Rothschild's giraffe. It's actually unique in Uganda, and you don't find it somewhere else in East Africa. You have to, if you have to see it, you have to come in East Africa, in Uganda, to see it. Their population is increasing. They are the tallest, one among the actually tallest animals we have in the park. So nice, so majestic walk, and they like browsing. They feed on top canopy vegetation. They really very beautiful animals.
Now, giraffes, what are they known for?
Well, they are known, most of the visitors coming here would like to see a giraffe because it's the tallest animal with its color, it's a beauty, the way it walks, and its feeding habit. And it has a long tongue which it uses in getting the food from its food from the plants. So it's so unique. It's unique because the height and its feeding and its coloration makes it a very unique animal in a savanna setting.
Is it a carnivorous or omnivorous animal?
It actually feeds on grass. It's just a grass eater. It's a browser if you want. It feeds on top canopy vegetation.
Has it got any prey?
Well, their prey, the animal, it's not really preyed upon so much because it's a fighter. It can kick, it can fight, it can kill a lion using a kick. So if a lion opts to hunt it has to go to be very careful. Otherwise, it's a very strong animal and it's rarely hunted. Even poachers, the one fortunate part is people don't have so much to do with it, and their population is actually increasing.
Now, as the Uganda Wildlife Authority, what difficulties are you finding in terms of conserving this place?
Well, there are several many challenges. One is the attitude and the marketing. People don't have enough information about these areas. They think they are secure, which isn't the case. And of course, the other reason, the other challenge we have is the community. Communities surrounding this park, there's some level of poverty, and once in a while these communities are tempted to sneak into the park and carry out some poaching. But at the moment, government is putting in an effort, and we're also sharing the revenue we accrue from the out of conservation of these areas. We share it with the communities, and we are spreading a lot of information, awareness about the values of conserving such a pristine areas. And we believe that in time, people should be able to understand and have improved revenues, which should be able to cater for their living.
Now, you spoke about poaching. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more about poaching. How bad was it and how bad is it now? And you remember before this place was a little bit insecure. You had the Lord Resistance Army people living around this area and other insurgents. How secure is it?
It was, poaching was very high in those days because people were living in the camps, they were being fed, so they had nothing, they had little to eat. Now, to supplement whatever there was, the handouts of food they were being given, they would actually end up here and get meat, wild meat. How secure it is, you are quite aware. The whole world is aware that Konyi is nowhere in Uganda, so that is security is a guarantee here. We are not worried of anything. Not everything is very fine, is on course, and your security is no doubt.
Now, if I give you a chance to sell this facility or this product to my viewers watching this program in London or in Europe, what is it that you think you can tell them that they should come and look at when they come to Makijo National Park, especially Para area?
Well, what I think is really very important here to see is the Makijo Falls itself. This is the key part, and that's why the park is called the Makijo. It's a very unique, the falls are very spectacular, and the sound from the falls itself is so unique. That's one key area I would say people should actually be able to come and view and watch. The other one is actually the wildlife. Wildlife is, for example, a savanna setting, a woodland setting with the giraffes, lions, elephants, as you've seen. Very beautiful. The other one is actually the river, the lake area, the views. Views are very important. You can have, as you are coming down towards Lake Albert, you remember seeing that setting, very beautiful setting. Grassland, then the escarpment, and then the lake shore. It's a beautiful area. And then the bird life. We have a variety of birds here. Bird watching is an important area here. the area is very important for bird watchers, so it's also good. And then we have the other part of Udongo, which is also good for bird watching, butterfly and primate walks. So it's a very good place. People, no doubt, will have what to see and will definitely get value out of what they
Have you got a website? www.
Yes, we have, yes. www.ugandawildlife.org.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you walk back inside, we will be very pleased to offer you a short reception. Thank you.
Is that the president? Yeah. British cab. So they're important, yeah? And they get a minivan.
And you've seen them.
Yes.